So I used to ask people, are you traveling to study or you are studying to travel? There is no right or wrong here.
Honestly, there is none.
Your journey abroad, it is tied to the type of visa that brings you here. Whatever career path you have chosen, how visible are you in the global marketplace? Come to the face of the world. That's what the internet gives you. There are places like prospects.ac.uk where you check where the jobs are. There are places like LinkedIn where you can search for jobs and see what recruiters are asking for apprenticeship in finance. Bristol Tracker. You see different degree apprenticeship from different companies. Some apprenticeship are getting like £30,000 a year. TFL apprenticeship is a very juicy one. So if you want to train to be a physics teacher or a languages teacher, the UK government gives you a grant of about £27,000. And you're going to get a job straight after that. And it's open to international, so they're open to everything. There's one going on right now, 10,000 black interns. I used to cry. Who say men don't cry? I will cry in the shower. But make sure you come back again.
There's a time you mentioned you had to be checked into a facility. And
I wasn't checked in. I was bundled. Apparently, I went into a taxi rank and I wanted to get a cab and I started a fight there and they called the police and then the police came in. They saw that I was not well mentally and they took me to a mental health hospital. I spent 5 months there. It was severe, psychiatric intensive care unit. That's why when I coach people, when I mentor people, I have a balanced view of things. Sometimes you need to chill because at the end of the day, like it's hard. The medication used to make you add weight. I was severely overweight. It slows you down as well. And you're walking like a zombie. I just wanted to look after my family. I just wanted to study hard. But life was telling me, why not you? I came out and since then, I felt like God gave me a second chance. I'll do as well as I can. I'll help as many people as I can. Life has humbled me a lot. I still meet people today that we were in the hospital as at that time. I see them and I see that they are not well. They are still heavily medicated. They are still not able to integrate back into society. I was lucky.
So what led to, from you being a rising academic star to dropping out not once, not twice, but 3 times?
The major part is money. When my younger siblings, we couldn't afford their school fees, my mom used my books to homeschool all of them. The teaching was so good that people in the area were bringing their children to our room and parlor for after-school lesson. 2 first-class students eventually came out of that lesson.
You recently crossed 1 million followers or subscribers across all platforms. I'm like, 1 million of anything is huge.
On a personal level, I have exceeded my personal expectation. In Czech Republic, it is tuition free to study in Czech, but you have to learn their language first. In Iceland, their public universities are tuition free. You know you don't have money, okay, then scholarship is your best option.
Is there a part in London you don't know?
I'm not sure.
You've been in the UK for at least over a decade.
Yeah, 17 years.
17, exactly. That's really good. And you shared your moments of ups and downs, and I will go to get in that part later in the other part of this video. But so far so good. 17 years in the UK. How has it been for you so far?
That's a deep question. It has had its ups and downs. There were days where I felt I shouldn't have come here.
Wow.
There were days where I would just lie on the bed and be playing it back in my head, hoping somebody stopped me from coming here.
Wow.
Tomorrow is actually going to be the 17th year, September 13, 2008.
Oh, wow.
That was when I came to the UK. And before you leave Nigeria, you always, what you see on the media, what you see in the news, you always had that belief that you're going to a better place economically. You're going to a place where your life will change. You're going to a place where things will turn around for the better. Particularly for a lot of us, there is rarely anyone that you meet that doesn't have, let's say, like an uncle or a cousin or somebody that has gone to the UK or to the US or to any Western country, and then you see the pictures, you see the nice things, because everyone puts their best foot forward. But before I left, I had always been a curious person, and I always had that information that I would not leave unless I leave on the right visa. And that's what I try to communicate to people at home, that your journey abroad, particularly your first few years, it depends, it is, you can say, tied to the type of visa that brings you here. And a lot of people just want to travel. I see people that come to my messages and say, I'm tired of Nigeria, I just want to travel. No. Just want to travel is a very wrong way to go about it. I lived and grew up in Mushin, and people used to come down and say, come and travel. We used to call them come and travel, and they say, come on. There are some people that they took. They just say, bring your passport. You don't know what they are doing for you. You don't know what documents they are putting together. You don't know. You just give them your passport, and then they'll come with one visa. We've seen cases where they'll tell you, you want to go to Canada, come. But you have to go to maybe a Middle Eastern country first. And you find out that they never leave that country. They are stuck there. They've spent all the money and they can't come back. You know, I have had messages from young women that has gone to other countries to like work as house help and stuff like that. So Nigeria is tough. Africa is hard. You know, we have very high youth unemployment and we are the youngest continent. You know, so there is the urge to go for a better life, but always move correctly, because this country can be hell if you come with the wrong visa. It can be hell even if you, in the first few months, if you come with the right visa and you didn't plan it very well. I had a student that came in and I told him before he came, I said, look, because I used to do all these sessions with people, and I said, look, when you're coming as a student, make sure that at least you have a place to spend the first couple of weeks while you are doing your registration, because your name needs to enter the system for you to be able to rent a house, you first of all need to do all those registrations, because a lot of people will not, a lot of organizations will not take you on unless you have, let's say, your provisional license, or you have a bank account, or you have an address. See, I said, find a place. And he actually has, but he thought the place was too far. So he went into an Airbnb. And within a few days, he was calling me like, the money he brought has finished. I said, because you came in as like a tourist. You came in like a rich tourist.
Exactly.
Like a rich tourist. You've not even done anything now. The money you have in hand has finished. So understanding the whole concept, and that's what I try to do every day. Try to explain as much as possible to say, for the grass to be greener on this side, you have to really pay attention to what is going on. I was very insistent to say that I will not leave Nigeria unless I get a student visa. Because I knew that at least with the student visa, I have some rights to work. I technically have a resident permit. I may not have full right to work, but I have some rights to work. So many people want to travel just visiting visa, let me go and run away. It will be the biggest mistake you've made, particularly now where we have a lot of anti-immigrant rhetoric virtually everywhere. You don't want, like, technology is making it harder and harder, easier for them to find you, easier for them to locate you. So you don't want to come out with the wrong visa. And that is the first principle. Look at student opportunities, look at work opportunities. Those are the ideal way, global talent opportunities. Those are ideal. Don't just travel because you want to travel. But it has been life-changing. You know, when you take raw steel and you put it through fire, that's what abroad is for most immigrants. Like what you are not aware of, you are forced to be aware of it. Like in this country, there is a lot of information going around. Ignorance is no defense. What you should know in day one, you shouldn't know it in day 30. You know what I mean? I wrote an ebook that was free. Like if you are just, I'm going to update it soon about what you should know when you're coming as a student. There were some people that actually printed it before they left Nigeria, and it was like a Bible for them.
Wow.
I think it had about probably close to 10,000 downloads.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on Seller. And I just put the things that you need to know as you're coming as a student. It is not an easy journey, but the risk is worth the reward. That's what I would say. Because when I was young, I used to see people that were in leadership positions in Nigeria. And that was one of the things that triggered me, even though I grew up in a poor family and I was the first. But I used to read the newspaper a lot. And I saw that most people that were running Nigeria at some point, in a high position at some point, they had a stint of studying abroad, whether it's in the UK, most of them, whether it's in the UK or the US. And I thought it would be a good thing for me as well to have that world-class education, world-class knowledge. And it has refined me, to be fair. I've been through a lot, which is the same for a lot of, everybody has got their own stories of how abroad hit them. But I would say the risk is worth the reward. And I am so much better for it because I've seen things from a different angle. And if there is one lesson traveling gives to you, it gives you the opportunity to understand how the world is from a different perspective. That is one of the biggest lessons you get. You may have a different perspective when you are in Nigeria, but when you travel and you mix with people and you hear their stories, your perception of the world changes.
Oh, great. To some people, don't really have a clear reason why. I've had some people ask me, what course can I come and study in the UK? And I'm like, now, what will you say should be that thing that should motivate you first?
Wow. You touched on a lot of things
I know, right?
in that area. So you mentioned something which is, for yourself, you are a qualified person, but you feel you are not getting the worth. You are not being offered something you feel matches your experience. That is enough to want to travel. But you can also get it without traveling, depending on the career that you are in. And this is why I beg a lot of young people that we are in an age where more than 4 billion people are using social media. How visible are you globally? Because there is trillions and billions of dollars that is moving and changing hands every day. And if you look at the way Africa has been positioned for decades or centuries, we've been kind of excluded to a large extent from the global economy. The dollars don't really trickle down to Africa. So what the internet did, the internet gave us that exposure so that people can see that there is talent here that can get compensated, that can get rewarded. I got my scholarship, my first international scholarship, around 20 years ago. And that was the time when internet was just trying to grow up. And someone told me then you could go on the internet, you could apply and get a scholarship. I thought, how is that even possible? I remember getting my first prospectus from King's College, University of London, and my mom asked me, how did they know where we live? That was our question because she's never experienced those kind of things. And that's what the internet does. You know, we'll go to British Council, we'll go to USIS, we'll go and sit down. Then there was no Facebook, Twitter, or anything. We'll just go and sit down, be reading books. So whatever career path you have chosen, how visible are you in the global marketplace? So that people can be able to offer you what you think you are worth. You know, is your CV on LinkedIn? Do you have a profile there? Are you interacting with global talents? You know, when we were young and our parents used to have shops, in that corner of the street where they have shop, it is the people that pass the corner of that street that will patronize them. But the internet gives you an advantage. Amazon has no store, you know. The internet gives you that advantage to position yourself globally, bring your CV out, interact with professionals online, write articles, you know, come to the face of the world. That's what the internet gives you. So not getting what you think you deserve is enough reason, because the lifespan of your earning, let's say you finish your education, let's say at 25, and then you retire at 65. You have 40 years for you to pull in as much money as possible. For footballers, it is shorter. And we all see what happens to footballers when they don't have enough reserve. So for you as well as a career, you have that 40 years. So if you're a civil engineer, for example, don't limit yourself to Nigerian civil engineering companies, because sometimes Nigeria may not be building as much as they should build.
Yeah.
So at that point, you have the skill, but you're not able to earn from your skill. Which countries are building? What are the top 100 civil engineering companies in the world? What are they recruiting for? Recently, we've been seeing cases of students that finish in Unilag and straight away they are working in top companies in US. You see what I mean? People are now saying, how are Unilag students doing it? Because they've been well aware of those opportunities. They've been positioning themselves for those opportunities. They have old students that are working in those companies. So they are interacting, they are talking. This is how you pass the interview, this is how you do this is how you do. That is how you have to think as someone. So I salute your courage. A lot of people don't have that courage. And that is where agency comes in. Nobody will push you. You will be the one that say, I deserve more, I deserve better. Let me go and get it. There is money in the world. Without a doubt. But you will only be paid if you are visible, if they know you. And how do they know you? Put yourself forward. Apply for scholarships. Apply for jobs. Understand what it takes to be a talent that Costain hires. Are you on their careers page? Are you looking through what they're doing? Those are like people who don't do these things and they expect it to happen. It won't. So you have to first of all position yourself. Then secondly, you have to know the end point and then work back. Start with the end in mind. When somebody asks you, what course should I do? No, it is what you want to do in the end that should inform the course, not the course inform the end. And I know there are constraints in terms of money. People go for the cheapest course available and then they come in, they now find out that, there are actually not a lot of jobs in this course. And I picked this course because I just want to come in. So I used to ask people, are you traveling to study or you are studying to travel? Because it's two different things entirely. Right. Some people don't need that second master's. Some people don't need that second PhD, but they are doing it just to travel. Then the approach is usually different. But if there is no clarity about what you are doing, okay, where is demand in this economy that you are going? Am I going to use UK as my first? There is no right or wrong here.
Honestly, there is none.
You just have to be clear about what you want and know how to play it when you get there. And it is lack of clarity that will make you be going. Some people already have it in mind that UK is my first step. When I finish in UK, I'll go to Canada. Some people already have it in mind, I'm doing this master's because it's cheap. When I finish this master's, I will now go and do the one that I truly want to do. But not having that clarity. They say if you don't have a plan for yourself, you'll fit into anybody's plan. So it's the lack of clarity that has made people make mistakes. But how do you get clarity if you don't have information? If you are not curious, if you are not asking the right question? Because the kind of questions you ask, who are the people that are in your circle? And that's where the curiosity of wanting to check as much information as possible. There are places like prospects.ac.uk where you check where the jobs are. There are places like LinkedIn where you can search for jobs and see what recruiters are asking for. You can follow talent acquisition people online and see what they are saying. See where the demand is. Is it in construction? Is it in tech? Where is the global? All this is readily available at our fingertips. So it all boils down to having that clarity, knowing exactly what you want. Some people will go, like now in Czech Republic, it is tuition free to study in Czech, but you have to learn their language first. You see what I mean? Do you want to take that chance? Some people will. In Iceland, their public universities are tuition free. When I was there, I met some students there. Some of them say, okay, when I finish in Iceland, I'll now go to Germany or come to the UK. But that is their first step. You see, that's where clarity comes in. So once you know your path, you know you don't have money, okay, then scholarship is your best option. You know you have a little bit of money, okay, maybe I don't need to go to the UK, maybe I need to go to Spain or I need to go to France. It all depends. You must first of all do that critical analysis of yourself and then you can access opportunities that are around.
Interesting. So that's really a lot of things that what you just said right now will give a lot of people so much clarity on how to um, plan their travel, be it what exactly should motivate you and all that. But you mentioned something that was really critical, and that was visibility. You said positioning yourself. I took that word. I'm like, that is very key because we have the likes of Tony Elumelu, who is a billionaire, yet he's still creating experiences
Yeah.
on his personal pages. There's
Exactly.
something he knows. He knows that your skill most likely will precede your degree, will likely will precede you. He's putting himself out there, he's putting what he does out there. Now, in terms of visibility, the last time when I was in London when we spoke, he said he recently crossed 1 million followers or subscribers across all platforms. I'm like, 1 million of anything is huge, first of all.
Yeah.
And you said, because I've been following your story for years, you said you probably started this and this whole, creating things during the COVID period. I think that's when you said you really took it serious and across a platform, you crossed 1 million. What made you, that's like 5 years I've crossed the 1 million mark. What made you to start being visible? One, two, to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to focus on immigrants who are coming to the UK, and how was the growth like for you, especially for new creators who are starting and the numbers first of all are not encouraging and they want to really do this thing on a larger scale, but they just feel like the numbers are not encouraging, but yet they want to do it. So what made you to start? One, why focus more on academics, personal growth, for the immigrants, and thirdly, how were you able to grow within 5 years to hit the 1 million mark?
Okay, that's huge. That's a very packed question. What made me to start? The first thing is that on a personal level, growing up in Mushin, first child of a poor family, dropping out of school several times, I have exceeded my personal expectation. And I never felt it was possible. So the first idea was to give back, in terms of give back hope. When we had that protest in Nigeria in 2020, it triggered me because when I saw a lot of young people on the streets, and I felt like that was me. I was also just looking for a way to survive. I was just running around chasing scholarships, running around looking for help. When you have, and this is the part of life that a lot of people do not break down to explain. Having someone to fund your education is a very huge advantage. If the money does not come and you have to source it for yourself, a lot of people do not get to where they want to be. Maybe they do OND and that's what they can do. They have to go back and start working and they don't ever come back because life happens. That is the challenge that the African child faces. Hopefully all the student loan thing will work. But during my time, you literally, you are either like the AA students where you can get those scholarships. If you are a B student, it becomes very hard. And if you don't have anyone funding you, you have to find a way to get it. And growing up, the crazy part of it is that I was only academic. I was not good with my hands. So now I tell young people, I say, look, if you can learn barbing, learn it. If you can take a time off and go and learn how to repair a generator, learn it. Because as you grow up, your parents might not be able to give you as much money as possible. So you need to bring in income somewhere. So I always tell people to balance that. So starting social media, I wanted to give back. I wanted to support that young me. Let him realize that life is hard. Just be prepared as much as possible. Particularly in the area you just mentioned, visibility. If people don't know you, they don't know where to find you, they don't know how they can help you. And you must also be confident in yourself because you will be pitching yourself, you will be selling yourself, you will be marketing yourself to so many people. So at a very young age, as much as possible, polish public speaking skills. Know how to articulate, know how to. I watched somebody, Professor Winston, he said, your success will be largely dependent on 3 things. How you speak, how you write, the quality of your thoughts. In that order. A lot of us have quality thoughts, but we don't write. we don't speak. So people don't know us. How many people have we seen online saying nonsense and they have millions of followers, and then you think,
How is this person able
how
to
is this person able to do it? Because they took the first one, how to speak. So you must first of all know how to speak. You must know how to sell yourself. If I meet someone just now, how do you present yourself? So that one is very important. And as I learned all of those things, I felt, let me give back as much as possible. Let me share my experience as much as possible. And a lot of people try to fake it. And this is one important thing when you want to grow on social media or in any platform. Be authentic. Don't try to look like you are bigger than who you are. As long as people can see through the facade, they know if you are authentic or not. And that thing that is worrying you is also is worrying all of us. You are not the only. Everybody is just trying to look like it doesn't worry them. We all have the same fears. We all have the same feelings about how do I look after my family? How do I make more money? So look back, look at someone that is 5 years behind you and talk to that person. You'll be surprised at how well whatever your platform will grow. And then there are normal tips of growing on platforms, which is know how to tell stories. There's a reason why the Bible and Quran are full of stories, because humans remember stories more than anything else. So know how to tell stories. Know how to hook the audience as well, because people are scrolling. So your first 10 seconds has to grab attention. So you know the hook, you know the story, you know how to end it, which is like the call to action and that. So if you can, and there are a lot of free resources online to learn how to do all of these things. People share how to. If you streamline your social media and you're just watching how to videos, the algorithm will be bringing you a lot of how to videos. It's like you're in a class. So I've taken media as class, and I'm just learning every day and improvising. The last tip I would say for you to grow is when you get on any platform, first of all, identify who are the biggest people on the platform, who are the best in class on the platform. Put their post on notifications, study what they do, leave some comments. When I started on Twitter, I followed all the big accounts. And the moment they post, I read it, I leave a comment. Somehow, they started reposting my post, and somehow I started getting some visibility. Add value to conversations. You were talking about LinkedIn earlier. There was a friend of ours who was not looking for a job, but he posted an article on LinkedIn talking about something in accounting. Before you know it, some recruiters were in his DM giving him job offers.
Yes, get that wrote on. Was it tax?
Yes, giving him job offers. And I've seen that before. I made a post recently about Switzerland apprenticeship, the way they do it. And people came into my DM. I had meetings with people from all over the world based on just that one single post. So show your expertise. You say you are good in accounting. Okay, something happened yesterday. Larry Ellison became the richest man in the world. Analyze Oracle stock. Put it online for free. Teach someone, show your knowledge, because people do. You say you have this BSc, MBA. People don't know you have it. Demonstrate that knowledge, because that's what you are supposed to do at interviews as well. Show how you bring value to the company. Give that value out for free, and you will see that things will come to you in a way. People will recognize you as a professional. People will recognize you for opportunity. People will bring you to events. So consistency is the last one. You don't know when things will go viral, when your followership will increase. You are one post away, you are one video away, you are one tweet away for you to go viral. But you don't know which tweet is going to be. Embarrassment is the cost of entry. That video, some of the videos that have gone viral for me is the video I almost did not post. And I was looking at it, maybe my hair is like this, maybe like this, my face. Nobody cares about how you look. And that's why I don't mention my name in the first part of my video. I mention my name last. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about how you look. What will your content do for me? So if you are embarrassed about this, about that, you're going to be there for a while. You see what I mean? So go grab your hook, help someone with the information, do it. And then you can use content to build your work. I've seen people that sell food, and they are doing content every day, how they source their food, where they get the food from, how they get about their pricing. And that people see the authenticity. And you just grow and your business will grow. Richard Branson has more followers than Virgin. Elon Musk has more followers than Tesla. Personal brand is a way. People have come to me, even business that I've not started, people have come to my DM to give me ideas of the business that we should collaborate. Why? Because they know I have a brand. People do business with who they like, they know, and they trust. And personal branding is a way to get there. So merge personal branding with authenticity and being good at what you say you are doing. You will be shocked at how big you grow. There's a book that I read one time, Crush It by Gary Vee.
I know
An
Gary
amazing,
Vaynerchuk. Yeah.
amazing book. And those are the kind of things that will just inspire you. In this world, the internet has given opportunity to the unknown. People don't know people like us. People have not heard our stories. And the internet has made that possible. I don't need to go to a media house. The gatekeepers are literally gone. It is all in your hands now, depending on how you want to play it.
When recruiters talk about working under pressure, and you mentioned your story about you had, I think, like a scholarship early on, and the condition of that scholarship is if you can be the first for a certain period, you hold the scholarship. Even you being the second best will not let you retain that scholarship. And that alone is pressure at an early age.
Yeah.
How are you able to handle that pressure and for such a long period of time?
It is hard. It is hard. And I try to explain this to young people from humble backgrounds. There is no point being angry at the world. The world does not owe us anything. So if you are coming from that background, you had better be good at something. You had better be good at something. Because you are looking for help, you're looking for money, you want people to bank on you. People will not give you something for nothing. Even before money, we had trade by barter, which is exchange of goods for goods. What are you bringing to the table? It's very important. So growing up in Mushin, Lagos, Nigeria, Mushin is like the trenches, we call it. One of the famous trenches in Lagos. You have Ajegunle, you have Mushin and all of that. I still go back every now and then. In fact, when I go, I don't go in a car. I just walk around and just see, what can we do? You know, even the things that we had back then, the libraries that we had, some of them are non-existent now. So, and these are areas that are very populated. A lot of young people. What can we do? How can we get better at these things? How can we pump money to support whatever the government is doing? Growing up in that environment, I was fortunate that my dad got a job at a company in Victoria Island, and he found out the schools that the senior staff were sending their children way above his league. And it was like, okay, I want my child to also benefit from this. Okay. But the first year, you have to literally kill yourself. Like, there's no money. There's like, you really have to load up. You have to, like, they had nothing and they had to squeeze to make sure I get in. Then we found out the school had the scholarship. I was 5 years old then. I found out the school had a scholarship. I was in primary 1. I said, okay, if you become first the first term, first the second term, first the third term, you won't pay tuition for primary 2. And my mom was like, Ijetiya, there's no way you will come second in class because we simply cannot afford it. And that's how we started. My mom didn't go to she didn't go to university. She was just a secondary school graduate. Even my dad didn't go to university. So we started that work. So my mom started studying the curriculum with me at home. Like, I come back, that means I didn't play football outside. I didn't ride bicycle. I didn't do anything. I come back home, I was working. And I was able to get on scholarship from primary 1 to primary 6.
Wow.
There was no time I didn't get the funding, because if I came second, funding over. But that sacrifice that happened then from my mom and myself, my parents, it meant that when my younger siblings we couldn't afford their school fees, my mom used my books to homeschool all of them.
Right.
The teaching was so good that people in the area were bringing their children to our face me, I face you, room
Wow.
and parlor for after school lesson. In that lesson, we had two first-class students eventually came out of that lesson.
Oh,
One from Unilag, one from one of the universities in Kwara State.
wow.
There were some parents that withdrew their children from school totally and said, just go and be resuming in the hourly lesson because you don't seem to know anything.
Wow.
That was what happened when I was young. So being under that pressure, I was used to, being able to deliver. So when I get on projects and they want to hire me and say this project is behind, we are looking for, I said, I will do what it takes. I'll be the first to come and the last to leave. This is nothing. Because then the finances of our family, the stability of our finances is dependent on me. If I become second, that means the scholarship is off. That means, and I understood that assignment from a very young age. And it just helped me to cope. Like people see some of the things that I cope with and I just be like, it's nothing. Because life is hard. We just have to really prepare for it. Like there's no one out there thinking, oh, how can I make Toyyib's life better? Or how can I make Akinwale's life better? All of that what depends on you. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
So you have to move in a way where you are somebody that creates value. When I was in the hostel for my junior secondary school, if I took Gary to school, that means I'm very, very lucky. Gary, Max, that's what I'll take. But there were some students in my school that they will bring rice, they will bring oil, they will bring Maggi, they will bring atagungun and something like that. For me to eat out of that rice, I have to create value. I have to be the one washing the plate. I have to be the one cooking. I have to be the one slicing the onions and all of that. That is value creation. So whatever environment you find yourself, how can I create value? How can I help someone? What can I do? Because no one will give you something for nothing. So that pressure has been built from then on. So even when I dropped out of school, I was always still learning. Particularly now that I have internet, I'm always on Coursera, I'm always on the open courseware. I'll go to a university, let's say like Harvard, for example. I'll go and look at their reading list. I say, okay, what are the books 100 level students are reading? What are the books 200 level students are reading? Can I get access to those books? That means I am always learning. And for someone that comes from a humble background, you have to be a learning machine. You have to be a learning. You have to be curious. Wow. You have to double down because it is just not easy. I wish I could tell you there was this magic pill. I wish I could.
Wow.
But I can't lie. It is hard.
But I mean, so you mentioned that based on your story, definitely you have a certain level of you are academically inclined. But you also mentioned that you had to drop out of school like 3 times. I've seen that in your story. So what led to from you being a rising academic star to dropping out not once, not twice, but 3 times?
The major part is money. The major part is money. And as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have someone backing your education, I know there is a thing we always say that education is the best legacy. Education is what can take you there. But we do not mention what it costs to have quality education. One of the things that keeps the gap between the rich or the middle class and the poor wider is quality of education. My primary school was a lifesaver because it was a very, very quality primary school. When my mom was doing after school lesson, we saw students that were in primary 6 and couldn't write their names. We saw students that were in GSS 1. They couldn't do basic arithmetic. And the schools were still pushing them. You see what I mean? Wow. So I was able to understand that what keeps the poor in a lot of cases is the quality of education that is served to the children. I was one of the 3 students that was picked from Oyo State to go to a school called Air Force Military School in Jos. Very prestigious. Like most of my classmates are now like colonels in the army and the Navy, wing commanders. But the first year the tuition was free. The second year they introduced the fees, 7,000 naira. That was like 1996. My dad was like, I can't afford it. We went everywhere, we couldn't afford it. And that's how I came back home. But remember, my mom was already homeschooling my siblings. And everybody was asking, why are they all at home? Why are they not going to school? So my mom said, you go. Then I went to stay with my aunts. I left Lagos then. And then later on, someone came in and said, I think that was 97. They said, Abeokuta Grammar School is also a great school that you could also go to Abeokuta Grammar School. I said, okay. That's how we went to Abeokuta Grammar School. But when I got to Abeokuta Grammar School, I had to go back to GS2 because GS3 was a certificate class. Yeah. So I stayed in GS2 and then I eventually graduated from Abeokuta Grammar School. And, Fela Kuti went to Abeokuta. There was a whole lot of experience in Abeokuta. Amazing city. Then I got to Lautech to study pure and applied physics. The first year was also fine. But the second year, even to raise money then was crazy. Had to stay back at home. Then someone told me I could study abroad to get a scholarship. I was like, how is that going to happen? Then I went online, saw SAT, saw all of that. And that was my beginning of study abroad. So I got my first scholarship to study in the US. But then the embassy was a problem. So it is, my story will be different from every other person's story. But the journey requires you to continue to show up.
Definitely.
That resilience. You can take a break. I used to cry. Who say men don't cry? I will cry in the shower. But make sure you come back again. Don't just give up. Because once you give up, that's it. There is no chance of it happening. But if you show up, at least, however small the chances, there is still a chance of it happening.
Wow, that's an incredible story. Thank you for sharing that part with us. And so, now back to immigrants and all that here in the UK. And I want to ask one question. What's been the most rewarding experience of an immigrant that you've seen so far? Be it the personal story from Nigeria and how they've grown in. You can choose not to mention their name, but at least like the whole experience of how you literally saw their growth from Nigeria. It might not even be in the UK, it might be in the US or Canada anyway. But what has been the most rewarding? But they went through your, advice. You were consulting with them, and you were literally the one that told them how to go about it. What has been the most rewarding story so far for you of an immigrant?
I've lost count.
Wow.
Because I get testimonies all the time. I've lost count. I'll mention a couple. I didn't think that question would come, so I didn't even research it. But because I get it all the time. This one just happened recently. Was it 2024, March? I think March 2024. I was at the University of Sunderland because I used to go to universities to talk to students. And there was someone there. I just mentioned all the opportunities that are available, that do these opportunities are available. And I just got a message, I think it was about probably a week and a half ago. And this guy messaged me, he said, when you came to our school, I was on my post-study work visa. I didn't know what was going to happen. And he hasn't gotten a job. And there was an opportunity I mentioned about getting funding if you want to train to be a teacher. So if you want to train to be a physics teacher or a languages teacher, the UK government gives you a grant of about £27,000. And he got this grant.
Wow.
He got the grant to train to be a teacher.
Like it was meant for him to train to be a teacher.
Yeah,
wow.
I have known about 5 or 6 people that have taken advantage of that opportunity since 2022 that have been talking about it. And he got a grant, £27,000, and he's going to get a job straight after that.
Wow. And
it's open to international, so they're open to everything. Get into teaching international, you see it's there. That was one. There was a guy that DM'd me from Pakistan, a young guy. He just saw my post online, and then he messaged me. He was like, my uncle he's an orphan. So my uncle borrowed me money to do this master's in civil engineering, and he doesn't know what he's going to do. Then when he came in, he used to call me. I would just tell him, do this, do that. Just regularly, because a lot of my followers have my number. They call me, and it's always hard. It's difficult to keep up. So he used to call me regularly, and I will give him one advice or the other. I'll tell him with the application. I'll just support him, encourage him, because sometimes you are just down. You have no option. You just need someone to uplift your spirit. So he finished his master's. He kept on applying for jobs. Now he's a project engineer with one of the big civil engineering companies. and he's doing very well. Notting Hill Carnival, I met someone that said they saw some of the posts that I did, within 3 years, they now own a house. They were able to put money together. I think one of the couple came as a skilled worker. So the moment they came in, they were able to get going, put money together, and they now own their own property. There was another one that also owned property within 3 years. I didn't even know about it. It was until when their daughter or their son wanted to do apprenticeship, and they know that I talk about apprenticeship. Then they rang me. Then they were now talking. I said, we did not even tell you this, and this. So it's just the beauty of putting information out, wanting to help people, and then seeing it come back in a good way. And those are the things I wish I had, but now you have that information. Why not share it and just let everybody be? There are a lot of testimonies, but that's what we want.
I mean, that's an impact right there in our community. And there's a time you mentioned depression and having to battle with, you have to be checked into a facility. And what was the cause for something like for you to have to check into that?
I wasn't checked in. I was bundled. Yeah, it's an episode that people do not like to talk about it. Particularly men, depression, anxiety. The way we've not been raised to address those kind of issues. And on a personal level, 2011, that was when it happened. I was just doing what a normal immigrant would do, going to school, coming back from school, having, let's say, an hour nap, and then go and work in the nightclub. That was my routine then. So this particular night, it was the night before the wedding of Prince William and Kate Middleton, April 29, 2011. And there was a bank holiday. So everybody, the city was busy, lots of security, like everywhere, because London was hosting that big wedding. So I went to work in the nightclub that night. And after I finished, I don't know what happened until I ordered my medical report from NHS and I was reading through all the things. I was like, how is this me? Apparently, I went into a taxi rank and I wanted to get a cab and I started a fight there. And they called the police, and then the police came in and they saw that I was not well mentally, and they took me to a mental health hospital. These are things that you never plan for. These are things, if someone told me I would not go home that night, I'll be like, why? I wouldn't believe it. That was how I entered mental health hospital. I spent 5 months there.
Really?
Yeah.
Inside?
Inside. It was severe. It was, what do you call it? Psychiatric intensive care unit.
Oh.
My parents are far away in Nigeria. There's no way they would know like there's no way they knew, but there was no way they could help me. If people say, where is your son? Where do you tell your son he has gone to?
Jeez.
And that's why I say, and the funny thing as well is that we don't mention this as well. There are a lot of Africans like us that are in the system. People that came here to study and they've ended up there. A lot of us, we try to say, and that's why when I coach people, when I mentor people, I have a balanced view of things. I'm not that person that says, go, 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 go. But because sometimes you need to chill. You need to, balance things, breathe. Because at the end of the day, like, it's hard.
Wow.
So I went there, 5 months I was there. The medication used to make you makes you add weight. I was severely overweight. It slows you down as well. And you're walking like a zombie. Like when I read my medical report, I was crying. I was like, how did I? I just wanted to make my life better. I just wanted to look after my family. I just wanted to study hard. Those are just what I wanted. Why would this happen to me? Why now? Why me? Of all people. All my life, I just wanted to do well. Why would this happen now? But life was telling me, why not you? Why should it be someone else? Why not you? So when I came out was the time when it really hit me hard. When I came out, people were listening to different music. The music that was number one when I went in was a different music. I was like, when did this one come out? Where have you been? You know? And my landlord could not find me. So he had evicted me from my apartment. Everything that was inside that place, I didn't see it till today.
Jeez.
So I started back again, couch surfing with some of my family. And then I moved again to some of my friends. Some gave me shirts, some gave me trousers. And that's how I picked up life again. So I've been really, life has humbled me a lot. So I don't, you won't see me, when I look at people, like, the nights that I went into mental health hospital, the money that I made from the nightclub, they used to give us tips. I put those tips in my pocket. I put it in a small bag. It was coins. I put it in a small bag. When I came out of the hospital after 5 months, they told me I had some property. And lo and behold, the police packed those coins.
Wow.
It was still there.
After 5 months?
After 5 months. That is when I understood that this life, you came with nothing. You're going with nothing. All that thing you are holding. The day you die, you just drop it like this. It was my memento mori moment. Since that time, you won't see me hustling over it. It was so humbling because that money, I was holding it like this. I was holding it because my life actually depended on that money. I was going to go and pay it into the bank, you know? And I came out, and since then, I felt like God gave me a second chance. Okay, I've gotten a second chance. I'll do as well as I can. I'll help as many people as I can. Because I still meet people today that we were in the hospital as at that time. And I see them and I see that they are not well. They are still in the system. They are still heavily medicated. They are still not able to integrate back into society. I was lucky. If I didn't come out, nobody will know me. Life will move on.
That's like 14 years ago.
Yeah. So you are not as important as you think you are. You're just a drop in the ocean. So take advantage of life. Enjoy it. Be good to people. And then...
Wow.
That's all it is.
I thought it was just like you just going there for like evaluation and having to...
It was a serious one. It was even when I came out that it became really hard. Because you are not looking at where you started from. Like in a system that you've built yourself for like 3 years and now you've dropped back to zero. How do you build yourself? And you know, people will always talk and say, look at this guy, what's he doing? Like, I won't cut my hair for weeks. People look at you and say, are you sure you are abroad? Look at how you look. You know, like, people will make jibes. People will say different things behind you. You know, it's just human. But then you have to fight through that by believing in yourself and just say, okay, I will not give up. My mates were doing their PhDs at that time. And I just had to feel like, no, I am not going to compare myself to anybody. It is just me, my progress. Even if it is only shower that I achieved today, it is something. And those small progress compound over time. And that's just the secret. There wasn't anything else to it. It's just like not giving, because you don't know. The future is very beautiful, but there is no way you can see it as at that time. There's no way I would have seen the life I'm living now then. Even if it was dark, pitch black. But show up, come up, meet people. Don't wear your problem on your face. Just be nice, be of service, and things will turn around.
Wow. We are here in London, and I had one of the shocking experiences when immediately I got to London 2 or 3 days ago. The underground had a strike action, the workers, and I saw how transportation literally held a city, turned a city upside down, like the city of London for that matter. And you had mentioned that you're part of the people that worked for the Elizabeth line.
Yeah, Crossrail.
Exactly.
We built it,
Yeah. How were you able to work on that crucial project for London? And how long did you work on that? And how were you able to get into that and work on that for that period of time?
Yeah. It is just, there wasn't anything to it. There were a lot of Nigerians that were working on that project. A lot of Nigerians in different capacities. Some were laborers, some were traffic marshals, some were assistant engineers, some were project engineers. So even though it is an infrastructure that is based here in London, but we all proudly contributed to it. And that's the beautiful thing about this country, is that when there is a massive project like that, you see jobs straight away. All the agencies are talking of jobs. Now they've approved a nuclear plant, Sizewell C. And I'm already seeing agencies sending emails around. Do you know any project engineers? Do you know any quant surveyors? And that's how we want things to be back home, in such a way that there is massive recruitment, because there is massive procurement, because there is massive jobs available. You see what I mean? We want that to happen at scale, because we have so many young people that are ready to work. So when Crossrail came about, we started around 2009, 2011. That was Crossrail, but I wasn't there then. I came in much, much later. So it was just like all the agencies I used to work with, they had jobs at that time, different kind of jobs, site engineers, assistant project managers, I just applied and I got in. When I got in, I understood how massive the project was. So for me, it was a huge learning curve. Huge learning curve. Like, even though I was in civils, I would sit with the M&E people, because those are people that have been doing this kind of projects for 10, 20, 30 years. So I'll sit with them, learn from them. What is this? What is this? What is this? I knew the first site that I worked, I would say there were about more than 500 people on the site. And I would say I know about 200 by their first names. I was just like meeting people, learning. If I go to lunch today, I sit with a different person, just learn. I even, like, in my years in construction, I've picked up some Eastern European languages. I can speak Romania, a little bit Polish, a little bit Lithuania, a little bit, I can speak a bit of Albanian, like the bits that will make people, laugh at you, and then they'll say, this guy is making an effort. Because it's all about people. It's all about people. I received a call recently. Someone tried to give me a job. It wasn't long. It was just a small project that I could do in a couple of days. But it was extra money. And I asked him, where did you get my number from? He was like, you worked with this guy. So, yeah, he was the one that gave us your number. And that's how being good to people really works. So on Crossrail, big learning curve. I was there till when they did the dynamic testing, and they were testing all the trains. It gives you a huge insight into how infrastructure works. Like how to build it. In some stations, we had several transformer rooms, and some of those transformer rooms have a 4-hour compartment, in such a way that if fire starts, it will take 4 hours for fire to break into that room.
Wow.
And you get to understand that this is serious business, and there was a lot to learn. So then the jobs were just coming out, and I just applied. But the moment I got in, I knew this is a school for me. Whilst I was there as well, there were some university students, some British students that were going to university. They came to shadow me for some time as well, see how I work, And I hope we do a lot more of those kind of projects at home. But it is mind-blowing. There were some people there that were apprentices when they came in. Apprentice, maybe they just finished high school or they just finished A-levels. By the time Crossrail finished, they were already engineers. Some of them were assistant project managers, because it was a project that lasted like 10 years, even though I didn't spend a lot of time there. But I was seeing people, when did you start on Crossrail? I said, I started as an apprentice. So what are you doing now? I'm a site engineer. So those projects are there for a lot of value, apart from transport, a lot of opportunity to train, a lot of opportunity to develop for the whole residents of the city at large. Some of the people that we did Crossrail together, a lot of them moved on to high-speed rail too.
Wow.
And that is where the mistakes they made on Crossrail, they will not make the mistake again. And that continuity has to happen. So if we're advising governments on infrastructure, you cannot do one infrastructure and stop. Because those people that earn those skills there, you don't want them to leave those skills and go and be working somewhere else. You want them to continue to grow and continue to train people underneath.
So second to last question, you've mentioned apprenticeship a couple of times. I'm heavy on apprenticeship. I mean, I've done internship, I've done apprenticeship, and I can literally say most of the things I learned from, being a skilled worker is basically as an intern, as an apprentice, simply because I get to learn on the job. I get to learn from people.
Yes.
I get to learn things that might necessarily not be taught within the 4 walls of the university.
Yes.
And I've also seen previous videos of you talking about your apprenticeship. There are different apprenticeship schemes and all that. Would you like to touch on things that, apprenticeship programs that people can, get their children into, or they themselves can get into just to get ahead in their career?
Okay. Number one, there is one going on right now, 10,000 black interns. Yeah. The application for positions for next year is open now on 10,000 black interns. It's one that we can all check out. For apprenticeship, my mind was blown when I went back to university as an undergrad at 30 years, and I saw young students. They were like 18, 19, and they said the company paid for their education. I was like, how does that work? And they told me that they come to school 1 day a week, they work on site 4 days a week. And it is a scheme that is very popular in the UK. Apart from construction, there is banking, there is finance, there is everything. So I'm even speaking to one of the big fours right now. They want to do an apprentice scheme where they invite parents. Because what we found out is that parents are some of the people that even block their children, our own parents, because they don't understand it. They be, I cannot come all the way from Nigeria and my son is now doing apprenticeship. My daughter is now doing, no, apprenticeship is not like that. In fact, in this world of AI, where AI is taking a lot of entry-level jobs, getting in as an apprentice is a huge advantage. Because you are immediately learning on the job. It's not like you now go and finish degree and then you now apply and then AI is already able to do what you can do. So why not get in early? Straight after A levels, when they finish GCSEs, there are some apprenticeship that starts from after GCSEs. I like them, but I think let us do the degree apprenticeship ones. And that comes after your A levels, B Tech, and T levels. You apply to different companies. Their apprenticeship in finance, their apprenticeship in law, their apprenticeship in construction, their apprenticeship in insurance, their apprenticeship everywhere. There's one website one of our brothers gave me recently for apprenticeship in finance. They used to call it a Bristol Tracker. If you go on that Bristol Tracker, you see different degree apprenticeship from different companies. And their entry requirements are always your A-level grades or your B-Tech grades. They will also ask you if your children, particularly the young ones, if they've lived here for 3 years before the start of the apprenticeship, and then just apply to as many as possible. Then it gives them that opportunity. They will work 1 day a week. They will study 1 day a week, and then they will work 4 days a week. An opportunity for them to grow. And they get paid as well. They are practically getting paid to learn. Some apprenticeship are getting like £30,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah, TFL apprenticeship. It's a very juicy one.
Wow.
Some of them get like £25,000 a year. They are already earning. By the time some of them finish apprenticeship, they've saved up for their mortgage, they've gotten their degree, and they've gotten like a 4 or 5 years experience.
So that's like a win-win in everything.
How good can it get?
Financially, degree-wise, career-wise, it's a win.
They are still living with their parents today.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
amazing.
Now, final question. I see your videos and I'm like, is there a part in London you don't know?
I'm not sure. I am London inside out. In fact, one of my mentors has already told me to start a tour guide business. So I'm looking for investors. Let's start a tour guide business. I'll take you around London, the Thames. Where have I not gone?
Not only does you know London, you know the story behind everything.
Oh, yeah.
This building, this is what they do.
Oh, yeah.
They constructed it. It was commissioned by this person.
Yes.
And like,
yes.
How are you able to get that kind of information in over 17 years?
It's curiosity.
Exactly. That's the bit. Because I'm like,
it's curiosity.
Except you really want to know. There's no way you want to know who commissioned it, the year it was commissioned, the pressing. And like the way you give us context into each of those, monuments, buildings, the museum. Like you really must be curious to want to know those details, like to the core.
Yeah.
So I think it would be great for you to start a tour guide, a tour company in that regard, because it's like that's an information on its own, and there's money in tourism as well. So.
Everything is linked, my brother. You may not have been able to find the link, or we may not be able to find the link, but everything is linked. Economics is linked with history. It's linked with personality. It's linked with religion. It's linked with civilizations. You know, you look at some buildings and then you see the rich history of the building. Like if you go to any football club, most of this football club, Manchester United, you see how the story weaves into the story of the city. You know, they will tell you this was what happened as at the time when the club was founded. You know, it all comes together. And that is the huge work on our hands back home. We need to revive so many institutions because they are relevant to our story. They are part of our history. They are part of our economy. And I'm just marveled. You know, if you look at the story of the underground, more than 130-something years now, when they've done the first underground. Why did they go underground? Because the city was crowded. It's okay, which other way can we move? We cannot use the roads anymore. Let's summon all our big engineers, all the Brunels. Let's summon all of them. What can we do? And they found a way to go into the ground. Wow. And now they are doing the ground, they're exploring the ground. London had the first underground. There are several undergrounds. When I went to Paris, I used the underground as well. So we have states in Nigeria now that are also due for underground. But the roads, we've not done. You know, we are still, you know, I mean, Lagos is moving to a large extent, but we need more people to come up. We need Lagos to move at super speed, and we need more states to come on board. So we are hopeful, but we are in a race against time because the population is increasing at a crazy speed, but development is moving, you know.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm really glad we did this particular interview. Thank you so much.